Hi guys, this is Paul again. I've got another new video to show you, and this one I'm calling Quad Step 288 Cubic Wonder 3D Elements. In my last video I started studying the geometry of the periodic elements. So I'm going to start this video by showing you the 8-ball ring of quad step. Now for this I'm going to give the balls a diameter of 34. These are just units. Now you can see this is just like a ring of pennies. They're all touching together. You can use any diameter, but I'm using 34 because these are the balls I always had from my units of an ICOSA. Now I made all the balls instance copies. So now I'm going to reduce the diameter to 5 to make the ball smaller. So now I'm going to make copies and rotate them to make a sphere, just as I show in front. Now look at these results. These are very interesting. Now look at the yellow balls. The 6 yellow balls form a hexagon. Let's bring the balls back to the original diameter. Now if you notice, the 8 balls were all touching each other, but the 6 yellow balls are not touching each other. That's an important find, and we'll get to that later. So now we're going to reduce the balls back to 5 again so that we can carry on. So what we have is an assembly of 18 balls in a spherical shape. Now my next move is to use this assembly of little balls and bring a CubicWONDER BUCKY cube in. Okay, now take a look at the results. Now look in front. The balls are lining up perfectly to the vertices of the CubicWONDER. I'll give it all a spin around and you can see everything good. It looks like we have a perfect marriage between Quad Step 288 and CubicWONDER. So now we can move on to another step. Now if you look at this CubicWONDER, there are 3 squares, red, cyan and blue. There is also a 4th square, and this is a red and green square. So by using this information, I have put the BUCKY and PLATO together, and I've used the balls in this order. So this is what I finally come up with. Let's take a look. Now if you look in front, the top of the PLATO cube contains 4 different colors. But if you look at the top and bottom of the BUCKY cube, there are only 2 colors used, the red and the yellow balls. So what I've done, I've given the red and yellow balls a brown ring. These will be the BUCKY rings. And the top and bottom of the PLATO cubes will be the white rings. These will be the PLATO rings. And as you see, the rings look exactly the way the Flower of Life rings are arranged. But I guess the Flower of Life is not taught in schools because it's not chaos. But what I'm trying to show in this video is that the geometry that I am showing is very similar to the arrangement of elements. Let's start with the BUCKY cube and take away the corner pieces. Now this could be the geometric arrangement of the atoms of an element. Now this is just my first example. Now we can fill them 8 holes up with tetrahedrons. Now look, when we take the pyramids away, we are left with a hexy. Well, that's a long name, but I call it a hexy. And I'm sure another element can be made out of this geometry. Okay, let's see what we can do with the PLATO cube. Now first of all, when we take the red, cyan and blue away, we are left with the Star of David. Or you can call it the dual tetrahedron. Now if we take the dual tetrahedron away, there is a green and white octahedron in the center. Now these are just a couple of examples that I'm showing you. but I guess there's a lot of different combination to give you the geometry of the elements. This needs an expert in chemistry to look into this. I only got my O levels in chemistry. Okay, now we can move on to the next stage. Now in front I'm showing you a PLATO cube and 4 BUCKY cubes. Now notice that halfway between the cubes you go from one to the other. BUCKY to PLATO or PLATO to BUCKY. Okay, in front you have a PLATO and 4 BUCKYs. Let's switch them around and have a BUCKY and 4 PLATOs. Now this is the beauty of CubicWONDER. It goes from BUCKY cubes to PLATO cubes, 1 cube to 4 cubes. But actually it's 1, 2. That is if you look in the front view. Now the next step up is to wrap the 2 cubes a single row around the pair. So now the sequence have gone from 1, 4 to 9 and 16. Now can you see how important that is? It's basically following the periodic table. So now we are showing 9 BUCKYs and 16 PLATOs. Let's switch them around and show 9 PLATOs and 16 BUCKYs. I think we've learnt enough on this, because 2 4s are 8, 2 9s are 18, and 2 16s are 32. That's the periodic. So now we can move on to the next stage. Now I've put a lot of research into this, what I'm going to show you. I am showing 4 parallel cubic sections. Now first of all, check out the PLATO cubes. Now if we count the cubes in the y-axis, we get 7 cubes. Now check out the number of cubes in each layer. We start with 1, 4, 4, then we go to 9, 9, and then we go 16, 16. This comes to a total of 59 PLATO cubes. Now if you look at the BUCKY cubes, they're in parallel to the PLATO cubes, so they're exactly the same. It comes to 59 BUCKY cubes. So 59 times 2 equals 118, and that's exactly how many elements there are. Okay, now I'm going to show you this arrangement in the front view. I think when people are going to study this, they might be coming up with more theories. Because if you look at the number of ring layers, it comes to 16. Anyways, I think I'll show you the top view as well, and take a look at this. Anyways, it's got something for you to look at and maybe come up with some more theories. I started working on an anim of this thing spinning around, but it took too much memory with all them balls and everything. So I've taken the balls away and just left a bare CubicWONDER. I think it looks nice without the balls. Anyways, I think I've showed enough of these discoveries to show that chaos is not the right answer. I'm only getting 2 or 3 views a day coming from the US and Britain for these new discoveries of order. Anyways, that's enough 3-dimensional order for today. So this is Paul saying thank you very much for watching my video.